Right now on Upfront.
The budget battle begins.
We're not flirting with fringe ideas here, folks.
I felt like I was watching Oprah Winfrey. $1 billion for you, $1 billion for you, $1 billion for you.
Governor Tony Evers' new spending plan. Republicans saying it's dead on arrival. This Sunday, the pitch to keep the Milwaukee Brewers in Wisconsin.
Will the Brewers leave Milwaukee?
Yeah, is this sort of what's our plan B? If this doesn't work, I don't have a plan B.
Will taxpayers chip in? Our guest this Sunday, Brewers President of Business Operations Rick Schlesinger from spring training in Arizona. Tim Sheehy, Chair of the Stadium District and President of the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce. And State Senator Howard Marklein.
I have seen this movie before.
Co-chair of the state's Budget Writing Committee. Then, 2 days until the primary, the battle for state Supreme Court narrowing to two. The final closing arguments intensifying this weekend, and you'll hear them moments away.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Spring training underway for the Milwaukee Brewers this weekend. The team posting all the highlights all over social media. This is Brewers officials now embark on a new political season. Governor Tony Evers proposing spending nearly $300 million from the state's surplus to give to the Stadium District to pay for improvements and maintenance over the next 2 decades. In return, the Brewers would agree to staying in Wisconsin through at least 2043. So, is a political standoff brewing? Rick Schlesinger is President of Business Operations for the Brewers. He joins us from Arizona at spring training. Rick, hope the weather is a little nicer where you are. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Let's talk about this proposal. The Republican reception has been a little lukewarm at best this past week. Are you surprised by that?
No, we understand this is a process that there's going to be a lot of discussion, a lot of consideration, and so we understand that it's going to require bipartisan support. And the reality is people have to digest it, understand it, ask questions, and have good, healthy dialogue, which is all we're trying to do, and we look forward to that dialogue.
As you know, you are now somewhere in between a Democratic governor and a Republican-controlled legislature who oftentimes don't agree on the big issues. Did the team play its cards right in going with the governor all in on this?
Well, I don't know that, the reality is we know we need both the legislature and the governor. And the reality is the governor independently decided that this is the announcement he wanted to make, and this was the plan he wanted to propose. And so from our perspective, we're not that influential that we can sort of, manipulate or overtly influence how specific things get rolled out. So from our perspective, we were very pleased, obviously, with the governor taking the leadership and making the announcement. At the same time, we fully respect the role of the legislature here in not only, reviewing this proposal, but to the extent that there are changes that they want to make, we understand that process has to take place. And it's evolving.
Do you have a red line in terms of a number that you'll put in these negotiations, that it can't go lower if Republicans start throwing out different options?
I think at this stage, it's probably, just premature to comment on what could happen. There's so many, nuances that could potentially be part of the equation. It's not just the number. It's an amended lease. It's a non-relocation agreement. It's the Brewers committing to additional sums. So there's a lot of pieces here.
Rick, you told me this past week there's no plan B at this point if this state funding doesn't happen. Curious, is your message to lawmakers we need this state money or we're out or may not sign another lease?
Yeah, I think that the message I've been telling lawmakers and telling the public is, we're looking for what the state and the district obligated itself to do a long time ago when we signed the lease, and nothing more. So the reality is we all agree that we need a ballpark that is first-rate ballpark, worthy of the fans, worthy of the state's investment. We don't want a situation like County Stadium where the ballpark was left to degrade. This is such a fantastic investment. We have done more than our share to keep this ballpark in great shape. It is still a crown jewel of Major League Baseball. So from our perspective, it's critical that we get the funding to the district so the district can meet its obligations for the next generation. That's what we're focused on. And, I haven't really wanted to talk about what ifs or what if we don't. My view of life is if you strongly believe in the merits of a position, focus on that. If you start thinking about plan Bs, sometimes they become plan As. So our focus right now is the merits of what we're trying to do. We're very confident that we think this is successful. It's critically important for the ballpark to have this funding. And we look forward to that dialogue.
Well, last year, Forbes estimated the team value at about $1.2 billion. Why can't the team just write a check to the district to cover this?
Yeah, well, without commenting on whether the Forbes number is accurate or not, the reality is I've said before, is we're not asking anything new from the district. We're just asking the district to honor the obligations that it agreed to back in 1996 when it signed the lease. And again, we're doing our part. We are fielding competitive teams. We're investing in employees, investing in the community through Brewers Community Foundation. We're staffing the building. We're maintaining the building. We're investing our own money into the building. So we're doing more than our fair share. All we're asking is for the district to meet its obligations and nothing more. So regardless of the relative worth of the club or any of those metrics, we're just looking for the agreement to be honored that we all entered into back in 1996.
Rick Schlesinger, President of Business Operations for the Brewers. Rick, thank you so much for your time and perspective.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's now bring in Tim Sheehy. He's president of the Metropolitan Milwaukee Association of Commerce, also chair of the Stadium District Board. Tim, like always, good to see you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So if the state money comes through, it would go to the Stadium District. Help walk through what this money would be used for.
Yeah, I think the simplest analogy is that the Brewers have a lease between now and 2030. This extends the lease with the funding to 2043. If the Brewers and the Stadium District Park can agree to a lease. But the simple analogy is if you're going to be in your home for another 5 years and you had to put a roof on, you might question it. But if you're going to be in your home for another 20 years, you'd make that investment decision. So what we're really doing is getting certainty on the kind of expenses we can make with the Brewers over a long term.
Help me, from your perspective, walk through how we got here. Was this the natural evolution of the sales tax ending, or were mistakes made that we're now asking for state funding?
Yeah, October 6th, 1995 at 4:54 in the morning.
You remember.
The stadium funding bill passed. And from that day forward, this day was inevitable because we were always going to get to a point where we would run through the funding that was put in through the sales tax and have to extend the lease. We're here today, and it's a wise investment to do it going forward.
What are the biggest challenges moving forward over the next couple of weeks do you see in these negotiations?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is understanding what the most efficient way to do this is. If you think about it, the $290 million goes in as cash. You avoid $200 million in borrowing. You gain the interest on that money over the next 20 years. So I give the governor credit. It's a very efficient way to fund the partnership of extending baseball for the next generation.
In your mind, is there a chance that the Brewers could leave Wisconsin if this state money isn't approved?
I don't think it's not so much a question of the Brewers leaving. It's the smallest market in baseball. Half the fan base comes from outside the metro area, which is larger than any other Major League Baseball team. And what we want to do is make sure that that taxpayer-funded stadium stays in good condition, that the Brewers are competitive, and that we can attract concerts and other things to that venue. So it's really taking care of our house, the house that we built.
When you look at stadiums and when you look at the league in general, if this lease is extended through 2043, is this the end of the stadium then? Will we be talking about a need for a new stadium after this, do you think?
Well, I saw a study that said if we had to build a new stadium today, it'd be like $1.6 billion. When we get to 2043, that's another question. But again, if we keep it in really good shape and we do the upgrades, there's an opportunity to extend this beyond 2043. That'll be somebody else's challenge, not mine.
What's the solution if this state money isn't approved?
Well, the challenge is then we have an asset right now that has about $87 million left in its fund. That asset, just like a house that's aged 20 years, will start to deteriorate. The Brewers will be less attractive in terms of getting fans to come to the stadium, and we end up in this slow spiral. And I don't think anybody wants that.
What are you telling lawmakers in Superior or Ashland or Marinette who say, why should my taxpayers and why should my constituents be paying for something in the city of Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's a good question. And again, I mentioned that half of the fan base comes from the rest of the state of Wisconsin. But if you think about Wisconsin and Milwaukee, we have three really unique assets: the Bucks, the Brewers, and the Packers. And I think that states like Wisconsin, smaller markets like Milwaukee, really benefit from those assets that are part of our quality of life mix. and much more so than in LA or New York or Boston. So it's a small investment relatively in an asset that really makes Wisconsin a much more attractive place to live, work, play, and learn.
You're no stranger to the Capitol. How hard of a sell is this going to be realistically?
It's a challenge, and lawmakers should be doing their job. They want to look to make sure this is the most efficient way to use resources, that it's a smart decision in terms of how those resources are going to be used, and that we have a good ironclad lease with the Brewers going forward.
Let's talk about shared revenue quickly from your MMAC hat. How are conversations going? You've been part of these for years.
Yes. Going back to 2015, and I want to give a lot of credit to the mayor, Mayor Johnson, County Executive Crowley. They've literally set up cots in the Capitol. They're really doing a good job making the case, and there's really two simple things that need to happen. First, we need more funding and shared revenue, and it sounds like the governor and the legislature are moving down that path. And then the second thing we need is a sales tax. We need an additional sales tax and use those proceeds for public safety. And they go to public safety because if the city and county can come to an agreement with their unions and their employees to freeze the pension plan, move new employees into the state plan, then we have the most important reform that Milwaukee could have in terms of responding to the legislature's interest in allowing us to put a sales tax in.
Are we closer than we've been since you've started these conversations?
We're closer than we've ever been, again, because of the work of the legislature, the governor, and the mayor and the county exec. We're also closer because next year the city faces a $100 million increase in its pension cost. So we've been talking about this since 2015, anticipating a cliff in 23. It's 23. We need to make a decision.
All right, Tim Sheehy, president of MMAC, chair of the Stadium District Board. We appreciate your time and perspective, like always.
Thank you.
The budget ball now in the hands of Republicans, promising to essentially rewrite everything the governor has proposed. First stop, the Joint Finance Committee. Co-chair Senator Howard Marklein is here next.